Well, I'm Casey with Chestnut Street Floral, and we were asked today to just do a presentation on gift wrapping and different options for you. Katie has a little bit more creativity when it comes to sprucing your package up and making it look really nice, but I did some nice gift wrapping back in my CYO days of just a basic gift wrap, and I can definitely show you a little bit about that, and she can definitely put her flair on the items.
Okay, we're going to start with the traditional gift wrap. So if you have a box at home, she'll show you how to measure different size boxes. Most of your gift wrap paper anymore has the little grids on it, and so that'll help you to figure out, you know, the size that you need, so that way you're not wasting paper, and that way you get it nice and even in the package nice and even in the paper.
So I typically start with the sides, or I look at what will best utilize the space of the paper with the package that I have to once again prevent waste. So when I look at this one, going this way up on the sides, to me I would use a lot, so I would actually switch it. I measure my sides first. I usually go about halfway up. And like she had mentioned, the grid makes it very convenient now to just count how many squares that you use. And so this one's about 4, and then I would just count 4 on this side.
Having sharp scissors definitely help when you're cutting paper. So find the sharpest pair of scissors that you have. If you don't, just cut slowly.
And then I just kind of double check again, and I'm about halfway to 3/4. And then I check my long way. And I typically do not center. The way I was taught anyway is I don't go in the middle. I go once again about 3/4, so it kind of overlaps. This way. I use my finger just as a guide of kind of where that point is, where it lands on the box, to cut from there. My grandmother would be proud. She taught us girls how to gift wrap. That was part of our job. And through the church I attended, we would do gift wrapping, and she'd be tickled right now that this is what's being taught. She did not make them fancy though. I had 2 opposite spectrums of grandparents. One that did, they were so beautiful you didn't want to open them up. And the other one was a name tag and pretty basic. So from there, I start with this side and I just tape one in the middle. I do a fold on this front end here, just so it's nice and straight in case you didn't cut it straight, and I may have not done, giving myself a little bit more of a cushion there.
She's making it work with her cut. But if you were to happen to mess up, if you ever have any leftover paper, it's really easy to make a patch and extend that paper out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's on the bottom side of the package, so give yourself a little bit of grace and just have fun.
With that patch, you just put it under that layer?
Correct. Yep, so before you tape this one down, you would have taken that and cut, before I've just cut in a small strip, taped it down, and then did my fold over once you know that you had that space that wasn't covered. On the ends here, I fold it down and I crease these sides. I'm giving the crease down there. Depending on how snug you want it to be. I don't do myself a lot of tape. I don't tape like every flap. I just tape once here in the middle. And then I fold my end up and I tape again. then this side was always easier depending on what was in the package, because you could always just tip it up now to do it that way, and just complete the other side. And once again, if you noticed when you came that you didn't give yourself enough room and you saw the package, you could take those leftover pieces and use it. We always had a nice little collection of paper at home, that the nice little boxes we'd have, and see what we could make work with the little bits.
These also make really great, the scraps, to kind of be a little more eco-friendly. They also make great name tags or little cards. So I will use them to kind of fold them over, cut, might write a little note in it, and then take that or pull punch it to the ribbon. So you're kind of using as much of the paper as you can and not have so much waste.
And so from there you have your base to start with, depending how fancy you want to make it. And I can kind of shift it over and see what she wants to create with it. She has lots of different options she brought along.
So if you're shipping something, I would probably just leave it really simple like this, and you can easily just take a Sharpie and write on it. You can take some of your scrap paper, make a little card, put love from Bob, I don't know, whoever you want to send it to, because usually those bows get smashed, and so I typically don't put a bow on it if I'm shipping it. But if I am going to give it to someone, you can be really simple and just do some twine on it.
Now, if you do ship it, do you want to leave a little extra on tape, or does it ship pretty well? Like basically how you have that ship well?
I do, yeah. I just make sure that there's more cushion in between the packages than I am worried about like the bow on it or anything like that. The tape usually holds good for me, but I do put a lot of the bubble wrap or old tissue paper, or if you have leftover paper, newspaper. I know newspaper is not much of a thing anymore, but you could definitely use some of that to kind of fill in the gaps so your package doesn't move and shift on you. So if you want to do something really simple, you can just take some twine and just wrap it around a couple times just on one end and cut. And once you have it held with your finger here, I would go underneath the ribbon and pull tight, and then from here you're just making just a knot, so just tying it tight. You can have a shoestring bow like if you were tying your shoe if you want, and make it really simple and cute. And then you can put your little tag on there. You can also do, I have lots of leftover scraps at home usually from other craft projects, so any of these I make into little cards. Like I say, we usually just write on the package too, and if we don't have any of the scraps, we'll just take a Sharpie or a marker or something and write on there. But something else fun to add to this would be to add some fresh evergreens if you're going to give it to them in person. You can just go to your local flower shop, or if you have a wreath or something at home, you can take a few little snippets off of it and add a little bit of fresh greens, which will make it really seasonally. I mean, you can just, I can smell it from here, but that's really such a cute little added thing on there. You can also do a ribbon tie. There's little silk things that you can add. There's pine cones that you can add to it as well, which is fun. So you can definitely kind of dress it up to even be more decorative if you wanted to. So that's kind of how you do the traditional style, and I'll show you how to do a bow on there as well. So if you want to do a bow, you can find different widths of ribbon, and I would probably go off of what would be the best size for your package. So this would make a really big bow. I would like it to be a little bit smaller. You can do whatever you feel like. You want to be creative on that aspect, but I do try to be a little bit more proportional on it. I start with my ribbon on the very top, and I hold it with my thumb, and then I go around the package, and then I cross it over and pull it underneath. So then you have this nice X point, and then I wrap it around the other side. This would be a traditional wrap. with the ribbon, but you could stop at just the one. And once you get to the middle, again, I hold with my finger. I'll cut the ribbon if these ribbon scissors are good. And I will go underneath of that X in the middle. And so it should pull tight like that. And then from here, you're just making a nice tight knot. And then so you have a traditional ribbon on there. Again, you can do just a little shoestring bow if you want. If you want a fancier ribbon, you could just leave it like this. Again, tie some of the fresh greens on there. Even if you have some silk flowers that you used from another project, silk is nice. You can just tuck it in there and be easily done with that. But to do a bow, you're going to do just a simple bow. Fold it over once this way, pinch it in the middle, go back underneath, pinch it in the middle, kind of go back and forth, pinching it in the middle. And you can do it 2 to 3 times, 4 times, however big you want to make the bow. And then lay it in the middle of your knot. And then you're just going to tie it on like you were tying your own shoe, basically. And then you can kind of fluff it up from there. And then cut your tails however you want accordingly on that. So that is more a traditional thing. Again, you can add little ornaments to make it personalized, which is really fun. That could be another gift option if you have a little gift. Even little tea bags, like if you're incorporating something small into your gift, you can always tie it to the top of your gift and it doesn't have to be actually in the box. So that's kind of fun. Gives them a little hint of what's in their package. So that would be a traditional way. The next thing I'm going to talk about is gifts for kids. I feel like sometimes on the traditional packaging, it's a little harder for, like I have a 3-year-old and she has a harder time with that wrapping paper and the tape. So I will take tissue paper, and I do this not just at Christmas time, but I'll do it for like birthdays. I'll get some tissue paper and I'm going to wrap it basically the same. And a lot of times, depending on what the object is, I won't even use a box for the little kids. So if it's like a piece of clothing or something, I'll just put it in the middle. Like if this was a piece of clothing, here we can do this. Let's pretend this is a piece of clothing. I'll put this in the middle and wrap it over on itself. I won't use any tape. And I'll just fold it over on itself. And then once you get to this, then I'll do my little tie with my ribbon. I will just do one little tie. So we could do the curly ribbon over here, or the twine if you want. Curly ribbon's kind of fun for little kids. But again, I'll just do one little loop around, maybe 2. But something that they can easily slide off the package instead of having to like find mommy and daddy to rip it open or get scissors or whatever. It kind of makes them be more independent with their opening present, which makes them feel, part of the club. So I kind of do the little once around, and then to curl a curly ribbon, there's a front and a back. And if you see that it's curling, this way, kind of falls down this way, this would be the back and this would be the top or the bottom top, if that makes sense. You're going to take your scissors, open it up, and just curl. If you curl it the other way, it'll make it flat and not as curly, and I can show you the difference. So again, if you kind of hold it up and it kind of goes with the way that it was on the spool, this is the top, that's the bottom. So if I did curl it the wrong way, well, it worked too good on that one.
It's not as tight.
It's not as tight, yeah. Usually it'll be like straight, depending on what it is. You're too good. So that's what I do for little kids. So much easier to take apart for them, so you don't have the tape involved. Again, I'll ship it just this way. It doesn't shift around as long as you put enough packaging in your box. So that's always fun for them, so they can kind of be independent at Christmas time. The next thing that I'll talk about is gift bags, which are easy. Again, those would be easy for little kids too, but these are just a nice way to reuse some of your bags. I have bags that I keep throughout the year. I don't throw any of my Christmas bags away. Same with your boxes. Throughout the year, to be a little eco-friendly, save all your boxes. Everyone gets boxes anymore. I don't know anybody who doesn't get a box at some point. So we just have always kept them growing up, and so I just have a place in my house and I keep a bunch of boxes, and my husband thinks I'm crazy, but I end up using them all. So those are really nice. And then, like I said, reuse your bags. So these are all gift bags I got last year, the year before, from Christmas. And you can just easily find one that fits what you're using it for. We could say like this: coffee, some dip, soups. I'm just gonna make this a little nice and full there. And again, you can pick out whatever tissue paper you want to do. I'll use the red since we got red and gold going on. You can, obviously, if there's something breakable in your bag, you want to wrap it with either more tissue paper or bubble wrap. Again, people get boxes shipped to them a lot. Keep your stuff that's inside those boxes so you can reuse it. If you go shopping downtown, they'll sometimes add tissue paper. I reuse it and save it all. Birthday parties, I save all of it. Ribbons, tissue paper, I have a little drawer full. So that way you can just reuse it. Whether if it's too crunkly to make it the pretty top, you can use it to like carry something that's breakable, or wrap it up so it doesn't break. So definitely wrap it if it's going to be breakable. And then you don't have to put the tissue paper in first. Sometimes your tissue paper isn't long enough to reach the top. So I put it in last sometimes. Specifically, like this is a very small piece of tissue paper. So I will find the middle of it, turn it upside down, kind of make a point with it, and so the top is nice and frilly and open, and just start filling in the top. Again, find my middle point. You do 2 to 3 pieces if you want, however fullness you want. You can stop there if you want. If you have ribbon at home, you can add a little ribbon tie to it. Again, you can dress it up by adding some fresh greens or even silk flowers or a pine cone. These are really fun and festive. You can even get the ones that's like in potpourri from various shops and have it really smell good. You can also spritz it with some evergreen spray if you wanted to. And to tie it, again, this is all just a personal preference, but just go through both loops. You can go through one if it doesn't tie. You can always go through just one loop of the handle. But I usually go through both just to try and keep it shut. Again, you're just going to be tying it like you're tying your shoe. Don't overthink it. And then you can stop and not have any loops. If you feel confident enough, you want to make a loop, make a little bunny ear like you're tying your shoe, make another little bunny ear, crisscross those, tuck one under, and pull. And then this is a wired ribbon, so it lays nice. You can kind of move it around however you want it to lay. And then you can cut the ends of your ribbon tails and make it look nice. That says Merry Christmas. I didn't want to cut it in the middle of the Merry, so I cut it in between the words. So, and that's a really nice little gift bag. So, little different options on those.
Touching base on your question that you had about shipping them, and if you put more tape, were you meaning that if you were to just ship this?
Yeah, I realized after.
Yeah, so I actually, that's not a silly question. because some don't want to put a box within a box and then everything gets bigger and heavier. So what I have done in the past, just because I am not confident that it won't get opened, is I will do my basic wrap and just do a name tag on it. Nothing else fancy, no bows, no ribbon, just like a pretty name tag sticker you can get like at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. And then I've gotten the little bit thicker craft paper that's on a roll and it's just plain, and then I just wrap it just like I did the first time, one more time, but I use packing tape on the ends so that then when they open that package, or if whoever you're sending it to, let them know, like if you open up the first layer, the gift's underneath, and then it kind of just ensures that the package you wrapped is a little bit, but you're not putting a box in a box and then putting packing, and then what you sent, you know, was this big in a box that was even bigger. If that kind of helps. All of a sudden I'm like, I think that's what she might have been asking.
It was, and then I realized after I asked it that I was like, oh, wait, just put it into the box too.
My mom has sent me a lot of packages where she'll just wrap it in like you said, the little bit of a heavier paper, and then she'll just slap the shipping label on it, and it'll send through perfectly fine. It might be like a few scuffed edges, but I still get to unwrap it.
Yeah, exactly. Even the coffee boxes that we send out at the shop, there was a few times that it was just an awkward amount of coffee that they had me shipping, and so it didn't fit in any box good. And I had another employee that said, you know what, how I send mine when I send it out to help save costs is I actually just take our gift bag and I cut the handles off, I wrap it in bubble wrap, I put it in the bag, I fold the bag over to make like a seal, I tape it up and just ship it that way. So you could, even if you had a small enough package, you could do that, and that saves a lot because you're not having the weight of a bigger container. So
Thank you.
yes.
Some more eco-friendly ways, since we're kind of talking about being a little bit eco-friendly, that kind of leads us into our last thing that I was going to talk to you guys about, is using what you have at home. So I grew up in a gift shop, in a flower shop, and so I grew up doing the traditional gift wrapping with paper and the ribbon and doing it all grand and everything. But when it came to being at our home, my parents would often use what we had at home. They would still do some nice gift wrap on things, but finances is always hard for everybody, especially right now, and so use what you have at home. We grew up having newspapers, so my dad used a lot of newspapers. We'd use the comic strips a lot, and it was really fun because we'd always have like our favorite comic strip, and so they'd put those ones on our package. So those are really fun to do that way. We also do like even bigger packages that we don't have enough wrapping paper for. We use a bed sheet or a towel. That's why I have a blanket here, is to kind of show you how to do just a little wrap with what you have. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to go to the store and buy paper and feel good about it. Like it's fun, it's creative, you're being useful with all your resources, and if you want to give them a blanket, you know, or a towel, it could be a part of their gift too. So this is just a little throw blanket. Like we wrapped my daughter's birthday present, which was a little bike, in just a little throw that we had at home. She loved it, she didn't care. It was fun and festive, and she was able to pull it apart instead of having it in this big box, you know. So lots of fun ways to do things. And this is also fun if like you have a gift that isn't really like square and has like some difficult objects to wrap. Let's say you're wrapping this gift basket and you didn't want them to see what's in it. You can easily just do a blanket. Again, it doesn't have to be something fancy. But my family, you could either go up like this, just take all the corners, bring it together, and easily tie some ribbon around it. My family would do a lot of times where they just take the two edges, go down, taking your other two edges, bring it up and tie it. So just something fun and different, and again, you're saving a little bit of money. So
I had gotten a gift last year that was nice from a friend of mine, that it was just a bottle of wine, to be honest. And to make the theme cute, she went to just Walmart and got those little Christmas themed blankets. Put the bottle in the blanket, tied a little ribbon around it, and then the ribbon she tied a little, one of those little fuzzy socks, almost like it was the bow, and then had a cute little tag about relaxing, drink your wine, cuddle up, here's your fuzzy socks, and just alone, every part of that whole packaging, besides the one ribbon to tie it, was my gift. And so that is a fun way to kind of look at it as well, if you want to incorporate the blanket type aspect to it.
So those are kind of all the different ways. There's lots and lots of avenues down each one, and so I didn't want to get too involved in each section, but that's just kind of like the highlighted areas of gift wrapping. There's tons of different ways of doing gift wrapping with your paper. There's tons of different ways of doing a gift basket, which we've done a video over, so if you guys want to check out the library's YouTube video, you can see more in depth on that. And there's lots of ways of doing gift baskets. Just the main thing is to have fun with it and use what you have if you can, and enjoy the process. It's a gift, and that's just fun to give things. So if you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.